Good morning, children.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Children, please take. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. I've shared my screen. I'm sure it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please take a picture. Can I go to the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Completed this one.
Yeah. Today, I think I'm organized. I've arranged the slides in the correct order.
Taken screenshot, ma'am.
Yeah. Children, certain terms here we are still to discuss. So we understood about class interval. Now in the earlier slide, now look at this one. So yesterday we prepared a frequency distribution or a frequency table for an ungrouped data. I'll show you. Yesterday we prepared the frequency distribution for an ungrouped data. Let me show you that answer. See here. What is this called, children? What is this? What are these numbers called? 4, 5, 2, 4, 2, 2. What are these called?
Data, ma'am.
Data or
Raw data.
raw data. Raw data. Like you say, raw mango, ripe mango. Raw mango. Some of us do like raw mango. Okay, let's say a raw banana. Yeah, we normally don't like to eat a raw banana, right? You want it at least a little ripe. So a raw banana is not ready to eat. A ripe one is ready to eat. So likewise, the raw data is not ready for analysis. You need to organize it. You need to put it in the form of a table. That's why raw data or simply data. Okay, so we had to, so this is raw data. And we prepared, we arranged, we organized this data in the form of a frequency table without using class intervals. Without using class intervals. There was no need for class intervals. Just imagine 0 to 10 will include everything. Supposing you made class intervals. 0 to 10 will include all these values. What's the point? You cannot make, or you can, even if you take 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, it will be as good as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I hope you understand. So there was no need to make class intervals here because the range is very small. It starts, the number of children starts from 1 and it goes on till 5. That's it. There is no need for class intervals here. This frequency table, so we have the raw data here. In the question, we have the raw data. We put up a frequency table showing the frequencies and not the corresponding class intervals and the corresponding observations. See the observations, one child, 2 children, 3 children, 4 and 5. We have taken the values. We have taken the values as it is and shown the respective frequencies. So this one is a frequency distribution. This one is a frequency distribution which is ungrouped. Ungrouped meaning no class intervals. Frequency table which is ungrouped frequency distribution because no class intervals. We don't need class intervals also. Let's see the definition now. See, frequency distribution of an ungrouped data. The tabular arrangement of data showing the frequency of each observation. Frequency of each observation. Observation is 1 child, so many families. The next observation is 2 children, so many families. 3 children, so many families. So showing the frequency of each observation, showing the frequency for each observation is called the frequency distribution of an ungrouped data. You don't have to, theory is not going to be asked till you need to remember the terms. So when you're talking statistics, you must use the technical terms, which is why this is important. So when you look at this table, you must say it's a frequency table. And it's ungrouped because you don't see class intervals. You can see the frequency pertaining to every observation. While this one, frequency table, these are frequency tables and these are grouped. These are grouped because you can see the class intervals here. Many values go into this class interval. All right, the rest you understand. Now here children, so now that you know class intervals, I think yesterday I told you about the lower class limit and upper class limit. So that's what is here. Class size. Yeah, I think we discussed this also. Class size. The class size is the number of integral values. The class size, that's what I told you. It's a number of integral values a class interval holds. And we also counted. We counted now say 20 to 30, we counted 20, 21, we counted. We found out the number of integers that go into that particular class interval. That's the class size. So it's also defined like this. Technically, it is the difference between the true upper limit and the true lower limit of a class. The difference between the true upper limit and the true lower limit of a class is called the class size. Now, what is this true upper limit, true lower limit? See here, in the case of continuous class intervals, the class intervals are continuous. So here the lower limit and upper limit are called the true lower limit and the true upper limit. Whereas here when they're not continuous, 0 is the lower limit, but it is not the true lower limit. 10 is the upper limit. It's not the true upper limit. Let me repeat that. We see class intervals here. See class intervals in both the cases. This is in the exclusive form. This is in the inclusive form. Now in the exclusive form, that is when it is continuous. When the class intervals are continuous, the lower limit and the upper limit are called the true lower limit and the true upper limit respectively. While when they are not continuous, 11 is the lower limit of this class interval. 20 is the upper limit of this class interval. Well, they're not true lower limits and true upper limit. They're not true. In case of discontinuous class intervals, they are not the true limits. But in the case of continuous class intervals, they're true limits. Then there's something called a class mark. Class mark, which is the mid value of a class interval. Class size is different from the class mark. Class size, class width are the same. Class mark, mark M, mark midpoint. Class mark, M as in mark, class mark, M as in midpoint. So class mark is the midpoint or the mid value of a class interval. Now 10 to 20. The class mark is 10 plus 20 by 2, 15. The class mark of 40 to 50 is 40 plus 50 by 2, 90 by 2, 45. You can see it here. Just read this. So when it is class size, if they are continuous, to find the class size of a class interval, if the class intervals are continuous, you can simply subtract the upper limit and the lower limit, like 20 to 30, 30 minus 20, 10 is the class size. But if they are not continuous, there is a procedure to make them continuous. And then you have to, that is why true upper limit, true lower limit. True meaning you can find the difference. You can find the difference of the upper limit and lower limit and find the class size if they are continuous. See, there are two cases, continuous, not continuous. When the class intervals are continuous, the upper limits and lower limits are the true limits. So to find the class size, you can just subtract. You take any class interval, upper limit minus the lower limit will give you the class size. But when the class intervals are not continuous, it means the limits are not the true limits. The limits are not the true limits. So to get the class size, you cannot subtract the upper limit and lower limit. You have to make them continuous. You must make the limits true limits and then subtract and get the class size. So how to make it continuous, we'll see in the classes to come. But yesterday I told you, you can just count and find the class size. Now in this case, when the class intervals are continuous, see, class intervals are continuous. So to find the class size, 20 minus, take up any class interval. Take up any class interval, say 20 to 30. The class size of this class interval, the class size of this class interval is 30 minus 20, 10. And even if you use your fingers and count the number of integral values from 20 till 30, meaning 30 not included, up to 29, because 30 is not included there, right? 20 included, 30 not included. So count from 20, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 10 values, which is nothing but 30 minus 20. But in this case, it is not 20 minus 11, 9. When it is not continuous, the class size cannot be found using upper limit minus lower limit. It is not 30 minus 21 because they're not continuous. It's not 30 minus 21. Count using your fingers because 21 is included, 30 is also included. In the class interval 21 to 30, 21 included, 30 is also included. So when you count from 21 till 30, you will get 10 values. So to find the class size here, you can use, just to answer a 1 mark question, you can count, and when they're not continuous, you can just count using your fingers and write the class size. But when you're working, you know, a 4 mark question, then you have to make the class intervals continuous. We'll see how. That's about the class size. Class mark is simply the upper limit plus lower limit by 2. That's a class mark, or the mid value of a class interval. Mark or mid value. Just read the first column, this one. Just read all this. So the different terms are class interval, then the lower class limit, upper class limit, class size. Class size, which is simply the difference between the true upper limit and the true lower limit. So the limits are true when the class intervals are continuous. When they're not continuous, the lower limit and the upper limit, they are not the true limits. They are the limits. They are the lower and upper limits, but not the true limits. Class mark is the mid value of a class interval, which is upper limit plus lower limit by 2. Upper limit. So you take up one class interval, the upper limit plus the lower limit of that class interval by 2. This algorithm, now if you read, it might look difficult. Once you work a problem and then read this it will make a lot of sense. So I will not read this for you now. You can check your answer. Yesterday, I did not have this table with me. I think I was, just telling you orally and you wrote down. Just check your answer. These details you don't have to write. These details you just have to make the table marks, that is class interval and frequency. That's all, nothing else. You don't have to write all this. These two lines which you see, you don't have to write all that. And I told you about the tally marks column. If you have many numbers, if you have say some 50 numbers, it's so difficult to arrange the 50 numbers. It's time consuming. Let me say time consuming, not difficult. So it is time consuming to arrange the 50 numbers because there'll be, say there's no repetition also. Meaning only a few numbers are repeated. So then in that case, you'll have to be so careful in arranging the numbers. Supposing you have different 50 different values, only a few values are repeated twice or thrice. Then to arrange, say you have 100 numbers, then it takes a lot of time to arrange the numbers in the form of an array. That's when we use tally marks. If you can arrange it in the form of an array, so you can count easily, no? So 0 to 10. 0 to 10, how many values? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values. So 6. You can count directly and write. What is what is in this class interval 10 to 20? 10 is included here, not in 0 to 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. But again, it's not that you should not write tally marks here. See, you can show. You want to show that additional column tally marks, please show. You're not wrong. Yeah, so here you can see that we finished this yesterday. Did we? Yes, we did. So, children, I'm audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So yesterday, I think, yes, this was the last question we did yesterday. So you can see here, we have some 40 numbers because 40 students, so we have 40 different numbers here. And we have to put it in the form of we are organizing it. Why frequency distribution? We are organizing the data. We are organizing the data in the form of a frequency distribution, but there are some conditions given to us. Same class size. Class size should be the same. And the first class interval should be 0 to 5 and 5 should not be included. So the first one is 0 to 5. We always like to have uniform class size. You don't want to make it 5 to 15, 15 to 35. Though, yes.
Ma'am, is tally marks necessary?
Okay, please wait and ask me later. So 0 to 5, 0 to 5, and yeah, and I was about to tell you that you may come in, you may maybe this year or not this year, you may in future in statistics come across a table where the class intervals, where the class size is different, in the same frequency distribution, you can see class intervals having different class sizes. It's not that you should not make, but it's preferred to have the same class size. And that condition is also given to us in the question using the same class size. It's also given to us. We also prefer a uniform class size in a particular distribution. Well, it's a 0 to 5. So they've, they've helped us to get started. So 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 15 to 10 to 15, and so on like that. Now, 5 is not included. That means you should not make it 6 to 10. Supposing you make it 6 to 10, supposing 0 to 5 and then you make it 6 to 10, supposing. Then what happens? 5 will be included in 0 to 5, but it's given there where 5 is not included. That means the next class interval should start with 5. Should start with 5. The next class interval should start with 5. 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20. And you can see the size. And see, these are the true limits. It's continuous. The class intervals are continuous. The class intervals are continuous. So that means these are the true upper and lower limits. So the class sizes 5 minus 0, 5, 10 minus 5, 5, 15 minus 10, 5, 20 minus 15, because the upper limit minus lower limit is the class size of the class width. 25 minus 25. So the class size is 5 and 5 is not included in the first class interval. So now why have we used tally marks here? Is the next question. Why tally marks? Because we have not arranged the numbers in the form of an array. So what you do? Take the first number 23 and in the tally marks in this column 23, where does 23 to which class interval does it go to? 23 here, 20 to 25. Put a line there. Put one line there. Then take the next number 5. 5 is in 5 to 10. So put a line there. Then next number 12. 12 belongs to 10 to 15. A line there. 16. 16 belongs to 15 to 20. Put a line there. So you know how to use tally marks. So pick a number and draw a line. Put a tally mark to the respective class interval. Now, when you come to 9, 9 belongs to 5 to 10. So put a tally mark there. And you know, when you make 4 tally marks, for the 5th one, you cross all the 4. You diagonally cross all the 4. So this bundle is 5. This bundle is 5. It's just because it's easy to count, because when you keep putting tally marks, then again you have to count the lines, right? So when you make bundles of 5, it's easy to count. That's all it is. So here tally marks, become important because you have not arranged the numbers in the form of an array. So you want to pick the first number, put a tally mark against the respective class interval. Like that you go on. So this is useful now. And then you count the tally marks and write out the frequencies. So check your answer. If you finished this, please see the answer. Any questions? Ask me now. Yeah, write down the 4th question. Please write the 4th one alone. You start your answer like this. Write range. Range is equal to maximum value minus minimum value. Start like that. Range is equal to RANGE, range. Is equal to maximum value minus minimum value. Find out the maximum value among these numbers and find the minimum value among these numbers.
Yeah.
Two exams on linear equations are ready in the portal. I'll just give you some time to prepare now that you've even started school. I don't want to disturb you on the weekdays. So the coming Saturday, you will be writing one test on linear equations. And I first said it will be during the class, but now I've made a paper. So you can do it on the portal. So there'll be one schedule for Saturday, the coming Saturday, and another for the coming Sunday.
In the app, write the exam, ma'am. Test. Other app, we must write the test, ma'am.
How do you understand it?
Ma'am?
You're asking me or you're telling me? What
Ma'am,
is
no,
the
asking,
what
ma'am,
are the
in
options
other app, we
available?
must.
What are the options available to write a test? Please tell me.
Ma'am, other app, WhatsApp and
Yeah, so
class.
we have two options. Otherwise, we'll do it in the class or that's all. So if it is not in the class, it is in the portal.
Thank you, ma'am.
One for Saturday and one for Sunday. Please make use of this the following 6 days. So there's one is mostly MCQs and the other one is subjective. So there is graph making and all that. Revise well. Yeah, what's the maximum value? In question number 4, what's the maximum value?
210, ma'am.
210. All right, I'll just go with you, Kanishka. And what's the minimum value?
Ma'am, it's 112.
114, huh?
It's 212. Ma'am, 212 is the maximum value.
Yeah, 212. Yeah, 212. 212 is the maximum value and the minimum value?
114, ma'am.
114, huh? Okay, 114. Yeah, even my eyes say the same. 114. So 200. Now find the range, children. Write down range is equal to. This is how you begin the answer. Range is equal to maximum value minus minimum value. Or you can say highest value minus lowest value. That is equal to 212 minus 114. What's the answer?
Ma'am, 98.
98. All right, 90. So the range is 98. So what is the range? Like, you know, when I don't know, but then normally when I visit a store, that's what I first find out. What is the range? Supposing I want to, buy a salwar kameez set. The first thing I ask when I go to the shop is what is the range? But for some, it might be a, a very, a kind of an odd question to ask, but I'm comfortable with that because if it is priced above 5,000, I'll just come out of the shop because I'm not ready to spend more than 5,000 on a set. So it's like that. There is some who will not. Okay, it depends. It depends. If it is for an occasion, it depends. So all of us have some criteria, right? When we buy. So you want to know the range. If it's for like home use, then you have a range. If it's for an occasion, if it's for a family function, then you have a range. If it's for school, if it's for college, we dress up different for different occasions. So then there's a range. You will not go in a 6,000 rupees dress to your school or college, whatever be the event. Okay, like that. So let's not make it too much personal now. So like that, range becomes very important. Range becomes important now. So range now becomes important because what from which where do I start the class intervals from, and what should be my last class interval? I don't know. From where should I start? Should I start from 0 to 10, or should I start from 10 to 20, or from 100 to 200, 100 to 110, or should it be 100 to 105? So many questions. From where do you start off? Now, in the earlier question we were given, the question itself said the first class interval should be 0 to 5. But now here, how do you know from where to start? Should you start from 40 to 50, or should you make it 40 to 45? Okay, so that's when range becomes useful. So range is nothing but the highest value minus the lowest value. So the lowest value in this data, is 114. So why will you need a class interval like 90 to 100? Is there any value that will go into the class interval 90 to 100? And why will you need 100 to 110? But you will need 110 to 120. Because in 110 to 120, this minimum, this value, the first value, the smallest value is 114. The smallest value is 114. The smallest value is 114, which means you can even make it 113 to 123. See, it's not that it should be you should make it like 90 to 100 or 90 to 95, nothing like that. You can even make it from 113 to 123, 123 to 133. Anyways is fine. You can make it 111 to 121, 121 to 131. But again, you understand, we just prefer 110 to 120, 120 to 130. It's just a preference. Yeah. So the smallest value is 114, which suggests that there's no value below 114. So maybe your first class interval can be 110 to 120. Why 110 to 120? Why not 110 to 115? Because it's given the class size should be 10. Construct a frequency table with class size 10. The class size must be 10. So if I start from 110, I must say 220. If I start with 112, I should say 112 to 122. 112 to 122. You can start from anywhere, children, but you cannot say 115 to 125. The first class interval cannot be 115 to 125, because 115 will not include 114. And okay, so if the first class interval, this question is for you. If the first class interval is 110 to 120, what will be the last class interval?
$200 to $210, ma'am.
No. What's the highest value?
210 to 220, ma'am.
Yeah, 210 to 220. Why?
Ma'am, because the highest value lies in between 2 and 114, ma'am.
Yeah, because the highest value, 212, will be contained in the class interval 210 to 220. So the class intervals can be like this. So I told you, it's not that you must start with 110 to 120. You can even make it 111. You can make it like, now 114 is the first value, right? 114. So you can even make it 112 to 122, 122 to 132, 132 to 142. You can even start with 114, 114 to 124, 124 to 134, 134 to 144, 144 to 154. Anyways, but the size must be 10, and you must make sure that the first class interval can hold the minimum value and the last class interval can hold the maximum value. That's all it is. The class size is given to be 10. make sure that the class size is 10 everywhere, and also make sure that your first class interval can hold the minimum value and the last class interval can hold the maximum value. Yes, you can see it here, children. You can see it here. Do it on your own, children. You can see it here. Now make the table. If I showed you that slide because if all of us make use meaning the same class intervals, it's easy to check the answer. So there in the answer they've started with 114. I told you can also do that. So 114 to 124. If you have taken a screenshot, kindly don't copy from that. Please, let's make use of the time. Good use of the time. Let's not copy. In case you took a screenshot, please don't copy from there. After range, children, range is equal to maximum value minus minimum value, 212 minus 114. After that, just write frequency distribution. Then the columns, class intervals, tally marks, frequency. That's all. Class intervals, tally marks, frequency. So what are the class intervals? 114 to 124. We'll all do that because it'll be easy to check the answer, but you can also take 110 to 120. I told you. Okay. Now please start with 114 to 124. Put the tally marks. So see, for those who want it again, can listen to me. Now, first you should fill the first column. You should write out all the class intervals. 114 to 124, 124 to 134, 134 to 144. First, you must write all the class intervals. After that, in the next column, the second column, tally marks, take the number 144. Where does it belong to? Which class interval holds the value 144? Which class interval holds the value 144? Children, which class interval holds the value 144?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
140 to 154, ma'am.
144 to 154.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so put a line there, put a vertical line against that class interval. Then take the next number 184. 184 lies between 184 to 194. Put a tally mark against that class interval. Then take the next number 130. 130 lies between 124 and 134. 124 to 134. Put a tally mark there. So like that, take every value. Don't count. Don't count, children. Just look at the first number. Put a tally mark against the respective class interval. Then take the next number, tally mark. Third number, tally mark. Fourth number, tally mark. Fifth number, tally mark against the respective class interval. So like that, you'll finish all the numbers till 208. You would have put all the tally marks. After that, count the tally marks and write the frequency. Don't count. Don't count how many numbers are there from 114 to 124. Don't start counting them. You'll go wrong. You might miss on some numbers. Please use tally marks. And how to use tally marks? Look at the first number, put the tally mark against the respective class interval. Then take the second number, then take the third number, fourth number, like that. Finished?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. Children, I think we're taking a little longer time. Somebody share the frequencies. Yeah, tell me, I'll just keep it in my mind. Yeah, just read out the frequencies alone.
5, 2, 4.
5, 2. 5, 2.
5, 2, 2, 4. 1, 2, 5, 3, 3.
Why is it 4 here? Please tell me if what you see on the screen is correct or incorrect. Children, I told you to write the range. Write only that. Write only the range. Don't write all this here. It becomes so theoretical. Just write the range. And then the table. That's all. Okay, now we have to move on. So this is simple. Maybe now the thing is, now let me check if you've understood it correctly. Now in the class interval 154 to 164, in the class interval 154 to 164, is 154 included?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
164 included?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, because they are continuous. Because the class intervals are continuous, the lower limit belongs to that class interval. The lower limit is included. The upper limit is excluded. That is why we call exclusive class intervals.
Ma'am,
Exclusive.
but in inclusive it is included, no, ma'am.
Yeah. But these are not inclusive class intervals, right? They are continuous. In 154 to 164, the lower limit is 154. That is included. 154 belongs to 154 to 164. The upper limit 164 does not belong to 154 to 164. The lower limit is included in that class interval. The upper limit is excluded from the class interval. That's why exclusive class intervals. Then where will you include 164? In the next class interval, 164 to 174. 164 belongs to this class interval. 164 belongs to this class interval. See, when you take any class interval, the lower limit, now these are continuous. The lower limit belongs to that class interval. The upper limit does not belong to that class interval. It belongs to the next class interval. Has anyone got these frequencies?
Ma'am, I have used that class interval as 110 to 120, ma'am.
Yeah, no, that's what. So that's what I was saying. It will be easier to check. That's why I said all of you use the same class interval so that we can check.
I made the mistake, ma'am. That table is right. I checked that.
Okay, okay, Sangamitra. Any one of you who use the same class interval, if you can, like acknowledge that these values are correct, I can move on.
Ma'am, can we try the fifth one?
Yeah. Yeah, even I've been waiting for some of you to tell me, but I'm not getting any answer. I'm moving on. Look at this one, children. So you can see the weights in grams of 50 apples. 50 apples picked at random from a consignment. So there are many boxes of apples. There are many boxes of apples. From them, 50 apples have been picked at random, and their weights, the weight of each apple in grams is given below. So there is one apple which weighs 131 grams. The second apple which weighs 113 grams. There's the third apple which weighs 82 grams, 75 grams, 204 grams, 81 grams. Yeah, they vary in sizes. No apple, it doesn't have a fixed size, shape also. It is an apple, but then it's a plus minus. It looks different sometimes. So that it may be big, it may be small. So their weights are different. 131 grams, 113 grams, 82 grams, 75 grams, 204 grams, 81 grams. So like that, we have 50 apples and their weights here in grams. What are we supposed to do? So this is raw data. So this is raw data. What are we supposed to do? Form the grouped frequency table. You must make a grouped frequency table. That means you must use class intervals. So they want you to organize the data in the form of a frequency table. Okay, let's organize. We are very good in organizing. So so we need to organize the data using class intervals, grouped. So that means you must use ungrouped means no class intervals. Grouped, you must use class intervals. So they're giving us some conditions. They want us to organize it. Form the grouped frequency table by dividing the variable range. Variable range, these values there are the variable ranges. By dividing the variable range, and how do you find the range? Also, variables are the numbers which you see there. How do you find the range? Maximum value minus minimum
Maximum
value.
value minus minimum value.
Yeah, that range into intervals of equal width of 20 grams. So they want the class size. I told you class size is also class width. So the class size or the class width must be 20. Must be 20 such that the mid value of the first class. So mid value is the class mark. Mid value is the class mark. Mid value is the class mark. So this is what it is. So that the the mid value of the first class interval is 70 grams. So we have 50 numbers with us. We need to organize these numbers in a frequency table. We are asked to use class intervals. We are asked to use class intervals because grouped. We are given the class size 20 grams. So it should be like 80 to 100, 100 to 120. I told you can start from anywhere. See if the smallest values say 57, you can make it 57 to 77. If the smallest value is 57, then you can start with 57 to 77 because 20 should be the class size. 57 to 77, 77 to 97, 97 to 117. So it's so the lower limit or the upper limit, it's not that the numbers must be in 5s or 10s, nothing like that. Okay, so now equal width of 20 grams. So that's a class size. And the mid value of the first class interval is given to you. The mid value of the first class interval is 70 grams. Okay, so now tell me, who can tell me what's the formula to find the class mark? What's the formula to find the class mark?
Upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2, ma'am.
Correct. Shreyas, correct. So the class mark is equal to, so we should first write that formula. Class mark is equal to upper limit plus lower limit by 2. That's the first step. I'll show you the answer. Now we just, like visualizing and understanding. So class mark is equal to upper limit plus lower limit by 2. Okay. Now what is the class mark given? 70. This class mark is of the first class interval. Every class interval will have. Okay, 1 minute. Children, what's the class mark of the class interval 154 to 164? The class mark, see the class size. Sorry, 1 second. Let me just complete this also. The class size is the same throughout the distribution. The class size is the same, 10. The class size throughout the distribution. Children, please follow. If I'm not clear, please ask me questions. Now I'm saying the class size is the same throughout the distribution. The class size, everywhere it is 10. The class size is 124 minus 114, 10. 134 minus 124, 10. The class size is 10 everywhere. But the class mark is different for different class intervals. The class mark
that is 159.
Okay, so the class mark, now what happens, if you talk in the middle of my explanation, I forget what I have to forget, meaning I lose my chain of thoughts. That is why I say keep your answers or whatever queries to the end of my explanation. Then I just lose that track and then I cannot complete it correctly. Please help me. This is my disability. When I start, I need to complete the explanation. And when I end, then you can ask me your questions. Please remember this. Shreyas, do you get me? Now I
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I asked you the class mark, but if I've started saying something, please wait. And normally when the teacher says, please wait, so that then the children want to do this all the more. Okay, let me see what happens. Yeah, so now see, what was I telling? Yes, so the class size is the same. Throughout the distribution, the class size is the same. The class size is 10, but the class mark is different, will be different for different class intervals. The class mark will be different for different class intervals. Now, Shreyas, what is the class size of, Shreyas, what is the class size of 144 to 154?
149, 49, ma'am.
You're wrong. What's the class size of children? What's the class size?
10, ma'am.
What is the class size of the class interval 144 to 154?
10, ma'am.
10. Class size 10. What's the class mark of the class interval 144 to 154?
I, ma'am.
Class size.
149, ma'am.
149.
ma'am.
It's the upper limit. It's the upper limit plus the lower limit by 2. 149. 144 plus 154 by 2. 149.
140.
What is the class size of 174 to 17? What is the class size of the class interval 174 to 184?
10, ma'am.
Class size is 10. Upper limit minus the lower limit. 184 minus 174, 10. What is the class mark of the class interval 174 to 184?
179, ma'am.
179. Class mark is upper limit of that class interval plus the lower limit of that class interval by 2 is class mark, which is nothing but the mid value of the class interval. That is different. The class mark will be different for different class intervals. It's not one answer for all the class intervals. Because how do we find the class mark? It's the upper limit plus lower limit by 2. It's the mid value of that particular class interval, which will obviously be different. But the class size may change, children, but so far what we've been seeing is class interval with uniform class sizes. So everywhere the class size is 10. So the formula is class mark. The formula to find the mid value is upper limit plus lower limit by 2, and that is given to be 70 grams. So supposing, children, now tell me if the lower limit, now talking about the first class interval, if I call the lower limit as A, what will be the upper limit? Because the class size is 20, will the upper limit not be A plus 20?
Yes, ma'am.
Children, I'm saying now the thing is we need to find the first class interval because they're very specific. They're very specific. They're not giving us the freedom to, take any class interval as the first class interval. They've given us so many conditions. The class size must be 12 grams. Sorry, the class size must be, class size is that equal width. Width is the class width or the class size. So the condition is the class width should be 20 grams. And the other thing is the mid value of the first class interval should be 70 grams. So we are now trying to find, we have to find the first class interval, right? Only then we can start. So what is the first class interval? So if you have to form the class interval, you need two things, the lower limit and the upper limit. What is the lower limit? What is the upper limit? I don't know the lower limit. So let me call it A. Then if A is the lower limit, what will be the upper limit? Because the class width is 20, the upper limit will be A plus 20, like 60 to 80. If A is 60, then how will you get 80? 60 plus 20, A plus 20. So let the lower limit be A. We are talking about the first class interval. Let the lower limit of the first class interval be A. Then the upper limit of the first class interval is A plus 20. Now, how do we find the class mark? A plus 20, upper limit plus lower limit by 2. A plus 20, lower limit plus upper limit by 2 is equal to 70, is given, is equal to 70. The mid value of 70 is given to us. So work this and find A, and hence find the first class interval and then make the frequency distribution. So you can now see the answer and help yourself. Anyone has a doubt? Why A plus 20 by 2 is equal to 70? Please ask me. Because that's a formula. Lower limit plus upper limit by 2 is equal to the class size. Sorry, is equal to the class mark or the mid value. Is equal to the class mark or the mid value.
Ma'am? Ma'am?
Yes, children.
Ma'am, I have sent you a pic, ma'am. Can we find out the A in that way also, ma'am?
Okay, yeah. You have taken A, 2 common. Yeah, you can do that, ma. You can take out 2 common and yes.
Okay, ma'am.
So 2A plus 20, you have taken 2 common and you have written A plus 10 and cancel 2. You can simplify anyways, yes.
Ma'am, but I don't understand how I got like 2A is equal to 120, ma'am.
No, I've written the final step like 2A plus 20 is equal to 140, right?
Yes, ma'am.
No. 2A plus 20 is equal to 140. So 2A is equal to 140 minus 20.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Now I
I just wrote that step directly. Yeah. 2A is equal to 120 directly. Okay, I should have inserted that. Okay. 2A plus 20 is equal to 140. So 2A is equal to 140 minus 20. So 2A is 120, A is 60.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Tarun?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Tarun, are you following? Because the first 20 minutes yesterday's class, since you didn't receive the link, you could not attend, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Is it fine, Tarun? Any questions? Are you comfortable?
Yes, ma'am. It's fine, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm comfortable.
All right. All right, children. So I think you can finish this by yourself. Now here you don't have any option. You have to take the first class interval as 60 to 80. Because only then the mid value of the first class interval will be 70 grams. 60 plus 80 by 2, 140 by 2, 70. Since the mid value of the first class interval is 70 grams, you have to take 60 to 80. You have no option. And the class size must be 20. So you should continue with that. 60 to 80, 80 to 100, 100 to 120. And the last class interval is 200 to 220 because the maximum value is, I think somebody said, no, you didn't tell me. I didn't ask you. What's the highest value, children? 204? Yeah, I can see 204. The biggest value is 204. So you're forced to take the class interval 200 to 220. Because only that will include the value 204. All right, children, I'm not allowing you to finish this. Please complete this later.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Make a note of the frequencies, or if you've taken a screenshot, whatever. Yes, do the 6th one. Work the 6th one and share your picture on WhatsApp. The first 3 students. Work it and let me know. Question number 6, test. The first 3 students who completed, share your pictures on WhatsApp. Work it, I'll get back in 5 minutes. Yes, anybody completed? Hitesh. Very good. I've got the first picture from Hitesh. Hitesh, I'm checking your table. Hitesh, please check the total of the frequencies and let me know your total.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Very good, Hitesh. Very, very good. There's one small mistake. That's okay. Let me know the total of your frequencies.
Ma'am, totaling it, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
Ma'am, for me, 1 unit is coming extra, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what. So, Hitesh, please check please check your frequency against the class interval 94 to 96.
94. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please take that 94 to 96. It's one less. You've got 7. It is actually 6.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Next, I've got from Satvika. Very good, Satvika. Your table is perfect. Your class intervals, the frequencies, good. One more. Hitesh, Satvika, one more. Yes, Kanishka. Children, when is the humidity high in the atmosphere? What does it
Ma'am,
indicate?
Summer, ma'am.
Rainy season.
No, humidity meaning it's the amount of water vapor, right? In the atmosphere.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, water vapor is
The
that
amount of
wetness.
moisture.
Yeah, wetness. So humidity is the amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere. So water vapor, something related to wetness. So when it's more wet, it's all as a percentage. Now, when I say that I've scored 89.2% in mathematics, if I say that I've got 89.2% in mathematics, so you know it's a good score. As against If I say I got 5.5% in mathematics, so you'll say too bad. So the percentage tells you whether it is high or low. Now these values are close to 100. Humidity is high, which indicates a wetness. The atmosphere is more, it feels wet. It's wet in the rainy season. When is it wet? You feel when you go out, when you step out of the house, it's now in the summer, it's dry. The air is dry. Meaning the humidity is very low. Okay, so it indicates rainy season, children. It indicates rainy season. Kanishka, your frequencies are not correct.
Sorry, ma'am, the 92 to 94 I have written it.
Okay, so I've received from Hitesh was Satvika was completely right. Hitesh, no problem. Only one frequency was incorrect. Kanishka, 2 of your frequencies are incorrect. All right, it's time to see the table. This is what it is, children. Your table should look like this. And yeah. You know how to find the range of the data. The maximum value minus the minimum value. That's how we find the range. And the class intervals, we were instructed to take, we were instructed to start with 84 to 86, 86 to 88, and we had to continue in the same rhythm. Rainy season, because humidity is more in the atmosphere. All right.
The range isn't 4.3, ma'am.
No, I don't. Come again.
Ma'am, the value of the range of the data is 4.3, ma'am.
4.3, huh?
Sorry, ma'am. Yeah, it is correct only, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. All right. Now let's understand the meaning of the term cumulative frequency. I'm not explaining what it means. Let's work a sum and understand what it is. Now there's a distribution also called the cumulative frequency distribution. Like we say, frequency distribution. Frequency distribution has the values and the frequencies, or the class intervals and the frequencies. If the frequency distribution or a frequency table, then you will have a minimum of 2 columns. You will have some values like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and their frequencies in the case of an ungrouped table. When it's a grouped table or a grouped frequency distribution, you will see again you will have minimum 2 columns. The first column being the class intervals and the second column their respective frequencies. So when you have the values and the frequencies, like in the case of an ungrouped distribution, or if you have the class intervals and frequencies, like in the case of a group distribution, the tables are called frequency tables. The tables are called frequency tables. Now there's something called a cumulative frequency distribution or a cumulative frequency table. Frequency table, cumulative frequency table. That is when the table has class intervals and the cumulative frequencies. Here you can see the frequency because we are learning how to prepare the cumulative frequencies. But when the table is a cumulative frequency table, you will only see some values in the cumulative frequencies. You will not see the frequencies. Now you will ask me, now tell us, is this one a frequency table or a cumulative frequency table? You have both. This one is, we are learning how to prepare. Now, given a frequency table, we are learning how to calculate the cumulative frequencies. That's all it is. Here in this question, we are given a frequency table. We are given a frequency table here, and we are given a frequency table, and we are learning how to prepare the cumulative frequencies. So if the heading is a cumulative frequency distribution, it'll have two columns: values or class intervals, and the cumulative frequencies, Cumulative frequencies. All right. Now, what is this cumulative frequency? Fine. Now, this is given. So this is not given actually. We have the raw data. And then we need to prepare the frequency table, class intervals, tally marks, and frequency. Now we learn. Now this part is familiar to you. So let's learn how to make the cumulative frequencies. So the first frequency will come as it is. Then see here. See how I move the pointer. Write the first frequency as it is. Then the next one will be 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 5, 13. 13 plus 6, 19. 19 plus 8, 27. 27 plus 7, 34. And 34 plus 1, 35. I'll tell you again. 5, write 5 as it is, the first frequency. Next, 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 5, 13. 13 plus 6, 19. 19, 8, 27. 27, 7, 34. 34, 1, 35. Okay, so this is how you will be, calculating the cumulative frequency. But what are we doing? Let's understand that. Now, this is how you prepare the cumulative frequencies. You write the first one as it is, and then you keep adding 5 plus 3, 8, 8 plus 5, 13, and so on. But what is this? What is the meaning of this term cumulative frequency? Now, what is the frequency of the children? What's the frequency of the class interval 150 to 200? What is the frequency of the class interval 150 to 200?
5.
5. Yeah, 5. Its cumulative frequency is also 5. The cumulative frequency is also 5. Now to get this cumulative frequency 8, what you have to do is add 5 and 3. Add the frequencies up to that class interval. So 5. So when you're finding the cumulative frequency for this one, 5 plus 3, 8. Then for the third one, 5 plus 3 plus 5, 13. For the fourth one, 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 6, 19. Then for the next one, 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 6 plus 8, which is 27. So when you're finding the cumulative frequency for this 350 to 400, when you're writing this cumulative frequency, what you have to do is you'll have to add all these frequencies till that class interval, or from the beginning till that particular class interval, all the frequencies you should add. Now see, if I want to write the cumulative frequency for 350 to 400, 350 to 400, 350, for this one I want to write 350 to 400. So I'll add all these frequencies from the beginning till 350 to 400. 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 6 plus 8 plus 7. Okay, 8 till 8 for 350 to 400. Supposing I want to write for the last one, the cumulative frequency for the last one. So till here, all the frequencies we should add. So 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 6 plus 8 plus 7 plus 1. So to get the cumulative frequency for a particular class interval, you should add all the frequencies till that class interval, including that class interval. Add all the frequencies. So if I want to find the class interval for 250 to 300, 250 to 300, I must add 5, 3 and 5. 5, 3 and 5. If I want to find for 300 to 350, 300 to 350, 6 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5. That answer I should write against a class interval like this. So instead of doing this, we can also do this what we saw first. 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 5, 13. Will give you the same result. Yes, write down this question, children. Complete this answer by yourself. All right. So you're given a data, and the question is to form a cumulative frequency table with class intervals of length 50. Class intervals of length 50. Of length 50 meaning the class size or the class width should be 50. It's not given if the class intervals must be continuous or not. But children, you understand the preference is to continuous class intervals. The default preference is to continuous class intervals. So the class length should be 50. So you don't know from where to start. The smallest value is 154. The biggest value is 460. You can start from 154. 154 plus 50 is 204. 154 to 204. But why simply mess up with numbers like that? It's easy, no, when it is 150 to 200, it's still easier. So just for the sake of convenience, you can start with 154 and you can go up to 204. Then 204 to 254. This is more comfortable. These numbers are more comfortable. What you see in the table, 150 to 200, 200 to 250. We start with 150 because 154 is the minimum value. And the maximum value is 460. So 450 to 500 is the last class interval. The class length is 50, you can see. I'm sure you have taken a picture.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Yeah, take a picture of this homework. Now in question number 8, what's the minimum value, children? In question number 8, what is the minimum value and the maximum value?
Ma'am, 10.
The minimum value is 10, ma'am.
Okay, minimum is 10 and maximum, children?
31, ma'am. 32, ma'am.
36, ma'am.
38, ma'am.
Oh my God, 32, 36, 38. Okay. So 38. Anything beyond that? Let me also see. 30.
38, ma'am.
38. Yeah, looks like 38 is the biggest value. Okay. So 38 is the biggest value, 10 is the lowest value. And here the question is very relaxed. They have not given us too many conditions, you know. So we have the flexibility in deciding the class intervals. Now see, a form of grouped meaning you must use class intervals. Grouped meaning you must use class intervals. And inclusive method. Inclusive means the lower limit and the upper limit should be included in the same class interval. That means your class intervals must not be continuous. It should not be continuous. It should not be continuous. Minimum value is 10, maximum is 38. And the class interval should not, you should use class intervals because grouped frequency distribution. And the class intervals should not be continuous because inclusive method taking 4 as the magnitude of the, see the different terms. So taking 4 as the magnitude of the class intervals, meaning the size, the class size. 4 is the magnitude, meaning the class size is 4. The class size is 4. So children, let's start with 10. Now I'm saying we'll use some common thing because it's easy to check the answer. Now, since the minimum value is 10, children, let's start with 10. All right. Now,
Yes.
Use your fingers. The size should be 4. The size should be 4. 10, 11, 12, 13. So 10 to 13 should be the first class interval. Make a note, all of you. Use your fingers and count. The class size should be 4. The class size should be 4. And since the lowest value is 10, let us start with 10. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 4. 10 to 13 is the first class interval. 10 to 13 is the first class interval. Now, what will be the next class interval? It should start from 14. It should not continue with 13. It should start with 14. The next number, the next integer after
14
13.
to 17, ma'am.
Yeah. Now use your fingers. 14, 15, 16, 17. So 14 to 17 is the next class interval. Now 17, no, we should not continue with 17. Next number, 18. 18, 19.
18 to 21, ma'am.
21. So 18 to 21. Go on like this, children. Go on like this. Now you will understand. Actually, now you must have made a note of the class intervals. I said 10 to 13, then 14 to 17. So what do you see, children? What is the difference between the class intervals? Now to 10, what did you add to get 13? 10 plus 3 is 13, right? Next it is 14 plus 3 is 17. Actually, you're adding 3, but the size is 4. Actually, you're adding 3. Then you said 18 to 21. 18 plus 3 is 21. But the size is 4 because when you count 18, 19, 20, 21, 21 is also included in the same class interval. So the size is 4, but the difference is 3. Class size is the number of integral values the class interval holds. Now in 18 to 21, you will include 18, 19, 20, and 21. 21 also belongs to the same class interval. So the class size is 4. That means keep adding 3 to get the upper limit, children. That's all it is. You made 10 to 13. Then you should start with 14. 14 plus 3, 17. 14 to 17. Then take 18. 18 plus 3, 21. So 18 to 21. Then next number is 22. Plus 3, 25. So 22 to 25. Go on like that, and you told me that the last value, the highest value is 38. 38. So go on like that. 18 to 21, 22, 25, 26, 29, 30, 33, 34, 37, 38, 38, 41. 38, 41. 38, 41 will be the last class interval. Because you need 38 to 41 because the highest value is 38. You need it. So if we go wrong in taking the class intervals, you will not get marks. You know what a frequency distribution is. You know what tally marks are. You know which value will go into which class interval. But your class intervals itself are incorrect. You have made them continuous. You will not get marks. You will not get marks. So inclusive method means both the upper limit and the lower limit are included in the same class interval. That means the class intervals must not be continuous. We start with 10. The size should be 4. 10 plus 4. No. 10, 11, 12, 13. 4 values are there. So 10 to 13. Then leave 13. 14 to 17. If you can see, you're adding 3. The size is 4, but you're only adding 3. So keep adding 3 to get the upper limits. And the last one is 38 to 41. Finish the next one also. Question number 9. Question number 9. Finish that. Let me give you some condition. The class intervals must be continuous. For question number 9, the class intervals must be continuous, and the first class interval should be 28, because I think the smallest value is 28.6. So 28. Okay, 28 to 30. The size is small because you can see the numbers, they're not spread. I'll tell you why the 28 to 30 in the next class. It's time now. So all of you, for question number 9, 28 to 30 is the first class interval. 28 to 30. Yeah, homework, question number 10 and 11. Ten, 11 homework. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. If you have any questions, please stay back and ask me. Else you may leave the meeting. Thank you, children.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.